Facebook is a powerful place for businesses, and with Facebook advertising, you can now make an even larger impact. Facebook advertising is a great way to get your business in front of the right people and connect them with your business or brand. Basically, you're connecting with your customers in a place where they're already active and engaged. You yourself have seen Facebook ads. Now it's time to create your own. One of my favorite things about Facebook ads is just how easy it is to create them and how flexible it is for all types of budgets, large or small. You can run an ad for as little as $5 a day. Now, before you create an ad, you'll need to decide your goal. Is it to get more people to your store? Is it to get people to install your app? Or maybe it's to get more people liking and commenting on your page. After choosing an advertising goal, you'll then decide who it is that you want to target. And then you'll define a budget and decide how you want to pay for those advertisements. Before we get into creating ads for H+ Sport, I want to show you an example from my own newsfeed. Here you see what looks like a regular post. But you'll notice in the upper left-hand corner that it says sponsored. Some other posts may also say suggested posts. Basically, what this means is that these posts are part of a paid promotion. You might also notice small ads in the right column of your page. These are called sidebar ads, but we're going to focus on the newsfeed ads for now. So let's take a look at this ad on the screen. Now remember, it says sponsored at the top, so that means it's a paid promotion. In addition to the prime real estate on your newsfeed, it has much of the same functionality as a regular Facebook post. At the top, you can see any friends that have liked the page connected with the post, and you can also see the comments, likes, and shares as well. In addition to that social information, you can interact with the ad by liking it, commenting it, and sharing it. And here you can see a clear call to action to download what the offering is. This is what makes Facebook ads so effective in connecting with the right people. Next, we'll see some information about the business. If I were to click the logo or the brand name on Facebook, it would direct me to their Facebook page. Clicking the sponsored link directs the user to a page that describes Facebook advertising. Below, we see the message, and this is the main advertising copy. Its goal is to hook the reader. And below that, you have the image. This section can also contain a video or it can be left blank. This ad happens to have a link and a call to action to download. Some ads post links to a page outside of Facebook, so they have a second section that contains a headline and a description of that link they're sending you to. All this information can be customized by the advertiser. Some ads also include a custom call to action similar to this ad, and in this case, we see that button labeled download. Now it's your turn. Explore Facebook advertising and determine ways that you might be able to utilize it in your marketing objectives. When you advertise on Facebook, you're able to create different ads with different types of goals. This means you'll use a different ad type based on what it is you're trying to achieve. I'll be walking you through the most popular ad types, all of which I always recommend to new advertisers. Facebook has a really handy ads guide that outlines all of their ad types as well as their purpose and how they look. I definitely recommend you take a look and get familiar with the different types of ads and their formats. You can find this ads guide at the link shown on your screen. Now, you will need a Facebook brand page or business page set up before you can begin advertising on Facebook. Most businesses will already have this set up, but if you don't, it's very quick and easy to get started. You can head to the link on your screen to set up your own Facebook business page. Okay, let's go over the ad types and I'll provide a few examples. First thing to keep in mind is that Facebook makes slight changes to these ads from time to time, so your ad may look different than the examples I'm showing you. Taking a look at the ads guide, we can see on the left that the ads examples are categorized by objective. This helps you create the best ad for your goals, be it app installs, creating brand awareness, or focusing on lead generation. Let's talk about creating ads that promote brand awareness. As I select that option, I now see a drop-down with the different types of ads that I can create. This will help me get my brand out there into the world and in front of my target customers. You will notice that this list may be included for the other objectives as well. Now, as I go through the different types, you'll see on the right that different examples will be provided. So here we are in the Facebook example. But if I select on Facebook video, you'll notice that Facebook will populate different examples for me. Now, one thing to pay attention to are the different views provided. Here you can see what an ad will look as a desktop newsfeed ad. So that means these are the ads that are going to show up on a laptop and on the desktop feed in Facebook. To the right is a mobile newsfeed. So these are the ads and how they're going to look when they show up on a smartphone or a mobile phone. Now, if I continue scrolling, this is where I'm going to see the specific guidelines for the advertisements. So speaking of the video, I'll see the length of text required, I'll see the aspect ratios, and all other information that you will require when creating these advertisements. Scrolling down, there also will be the technical requirements. Now to the right, notice a call to action button. This is optional in your advertisements, but it really does perform well. So if I select this option, here you can see the different call to actions that you can provide on your advertisements. So you can ask people to book now, to contact you, to download, if you're providing a free guide, etc. One of the most common Facebook ad types is a page post engagement ad. Using the engagement objective as an example, the page post ad example is shown to the right. So this is a post that you'll create on behalf of your Facebook page, but you will recognize this as an advertisement by noticing the sponsored text right underneath the name of the page. So here you can see under Jasper's Market, it says sponsored. Now you're going to be noticing that a lot of these posts showing up in your Facebook newsfeed are saying sponsored, and that means that they are advertisements. Otherwise, these ads look just like a regular status update, and with it, you can include an image, a link, a video, or just text. And these page posts drive awareness and engagement of your message. Because they look so similar to Facebook updates, they integrate seamlessly into the newsfeed, so people are able to have a better experience in their Facebook account versus feeling really marketed to. Now, I also want to cover off the conversions. So here I selected conversions, and below that, you see the different ad types that are available as well. So this provides you an opportunity to optimize your ad to help people take specific actions. So these are actions like clicking your link, buying a product, or signing up for a newsletter. Conversions and links will be a perfect way and are a perfect way to drive traffic to a blog post or product off your website. So definitely keep this conversions objective in mind when creating your ads. Again, notice the look of the ads to the right. It looks like any regular post. So you have the name of your page, your profile picture, along with a typical post layout. So you have the post itself, a picture, and then the description of the link that the person will be clicking on and headed to. As with any other ad, people have the opportunity to engage with it. That's what makes Facebook ads so powerful. So they can easily like your page through the ad. If you look below, they can like it, comment on it, share it. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that people can engage with your advertisements. Now, let's not forget the right-hand column. And here we can see how the advertisement for this specific Facebook link under the objective of the conversion will show up in the right-hand column. So these right-hand column advertisements are different than your newsfeed advertisements. That you're not able to engage with them the same way. They have less information about your page, and they're more strictly an advertisement. Use the ad objectives to really drill down to your advertising goals, and this ads guide, use it as a template for your Facebook ads. So based on the ads that we covered, which ad objective might work best for your next Facebook ad campaign? With any type of advertising, the more relevant your ads are to your audience, the more successful your advertising campaign will be. Facebook has a lot of targeting options that you'll definitely want to try. Let's go over them. The most widely used targeting option is location. With this, you'll identify cities, countries, and even neighborhoods where you want to do business. For example, if you're a local business, you can show your ad to people who are just within 5 miles of your store. Next up, we have demographics, and here you'll choose the audience for your ad based on criteria such as age, gender, or education. For example, you could create a different ad to appeal to a different age group or gender. Now, those are fairly broad, so let's take a look at more specific targeting options. You'll spend a lot of time using interests, and this is what makes Facebook advertising so effective. With interest targeting, you reach people based on their interests, hobbies, and pages they like on Facebook. For example, if you sell surfboards, you can reach people who follow the World Surfing League Facebook page, or fans of Discovery Channel Shark Week, and anyone who has identified surfing as a hobby. Facebook collects a lot of information to create these user profiles, including pages you've liked on Facebook, comments you've left, and websites you've visited in order to provide very accurate interest targeting. In addition to interests, you have the option of targeting based on behaviors. You can target people based on purchase habits, device usage, and even recent life events. For example, app developers can reach people who are early adopters or who use a specific type of phone. Behavior targeting is often not as cut and dry as interest targeting, so be aware of that when using in campaigns. The next targeting option is connections. With this, you'll reach people who are connected to your page, event, or application, as well as their friends. You might use this if you're promoting an event by showing ads to the friends of people who've already RSVP'd on Facebook. Now, another really powerful feature is a custom audiences targeting option. As you become more and more advanced with your Facebook advertising, you'll want to take advantage of these custom audiences. You'll create custom audiences based on your own customer data. This includes emails, phone numbers, or user IDs. So you'll upload a list of email addresses, and then Facebook will identify their Facebook account and show your ad just to them. A good example of this would be sharing a customized ad with people who have purchased a product from you before. Whatever your goal with advertising, Facebook likely has a targeting option that will work best for you. Now it's your turn. Which targeting option or options can you use to get your ad in front of your customers? Sometimes you have to get creative, so don't be afraid to try a couple different targeting methods. There are many terms and acronyms specific to marketing and online advertising. You'll need to know many of these terms when you start advertising on Facebook. Let's do an overview of some of the most important ones to know. Clicks are the total number of click actions on your ad. Now, depending on what you're promoting, this can include page likes, event responses, or app installs. CTR, or click-through rate, refers to the number of clicks you receive divided by the number of times an ad was shown on Facebook. The higher this number, the better your ad is performing. Next, we have CPM, or cost per 1,000 impressions. This is the average cost you've paid to have 1,000 impressions on your ad. And an impression is any time the advertisement is shown on the screen. But keep in mind, an impression doesn't guarantee the user saw it, just that it appeared on their page. This is the average cost per click, or CPC. For these ads, they're calculated as the amount spent divided by the number of clicks received. Even if you're paying for ads on a CPM basis, you'll also see this number calculated, and typically you're aiming for the lowest CPC that still returns the results you desire. Next, we have frequency. You'll see this number often, and in more advanced advertising, you'll be able to set a limit on this. It refers to the average number of times each person received an impression of your advertisement. Advertisers often try to cap this at a certain rate to prevent ad fatigue, or people seeing your ad over and over again. And the last term you'll see often is called reach, and this refers to the number of unique people who saw your ad. So, for example, if 100 different people saw your ad, your reach would be equal to 100. You could have a reach of 100 with an average frequency of 7, and that would indicate 100 unique people each saw your ad 7 times, which means 700 impressions. The terms you learned will help you create powerful advertising campaigns and help you determine which ads are performing well and which ones need some refining. For a full list of terms and definitions used by Facebook, check out the full glossary at the link shown on the screen. If you already are using Facebook for personal or business purposes, your Facebook advertising account is already set up and you're ready to start creating ads. There are a couple more steps that need to occur before those ads go live. You will need to associate a credit card or other form of payment method to your account. To do this, we'll start by going to the Facebook Ads Manager. There are a couple ways to access Ads Manager. You can find it by visiting the link on your screen here. You can also use the drop-down arrow in the upper right-hand corner to bring up the menu. Here you'll select Advertising on Facebook. Now, if you have created an ad before, this link will be titled Manage Ads, like it is shown here. Here you can see that we're on the Manage Your Ads page. Let's select the Ads Manager menu and select the Billing and Payment Methods option from the drop-down. At this point, you might be prompted to enter your password. If so, go ahead and do that and you'll be brought back to this page. I'll select the green button labeled Add Payment Method. From here, you can include a credit or debit card, a PayPal account, online banking account, or a Facebook ad coupon. To add a credit card, go ahead and fill in the information in the boxes, and when you're ready, select Continue. Once your payment method is set up, you can continue adding more payment methods if you wish. Once that is complete, I recommend setting some spend limits just in case you make any errors setting up your ad budgets. To do that, I'll head to the Account Spending Limit box. Select Set Account Spending Limit, and here you can use this field to enter the max amount you wish to cap your advertising spend at. So when your account reaches this limit, all spend will stop and all ads will be paused within 15 minutes. This limit can be reset at any time and your ads will not be paced on this limit, meaning it's not going to show ads slower or faster depending on the amount that you set. Now it's your turn. If you haven't already created your advertiser's account, go ahead and set it up so that we can be ready to rock and roll and create some ads in the upcoming course sections. When you are advertising on Facebook, it's important to understand how Facebook will organize your ads. Facebook organizes advertisements into 3 levels: campaigns, ad sets, and then the ads themselves. This structure makes it easier for you to organize, optimize, and measure the performance of your ads. At the very top, we have the campaign. This is our objective for our ad campaign. For example, we may have a campaign to boost your posts or around a specific product launch. Within a campaign, we have the ad set. A campaign can feature multiple ad sets. This is where you will define who you are targeting, your ad placement, and bid settings. Each ad set can also have its own budget and scheduling criteria. You might use an ad set to target different audiences. For example, you could create an ad set to target people who live in the same city as your business, or you might use the ad set to identify people who like sports drinks. Within the ad set, you can then have multiple advertisements. All of the advertisements will use the targeting you set up in the ad set. You'll use the ads to control things like the image you use, the link you get people to click on, and the messaging within the ad. Let's look at an example of how this ad structure might work. Let's say that my company, H+ Sports, has a new sports drink and it's ready to sell. I might have a few different goals. The first is to drive traffic to my website in order to sell the beverage directly from there. The second goal is to increase brand awareness so that when someone sees the H+ Sports drink in the market, they'll be more likely to purchase it. And the third goal or objective is to promote a special coupon for a discount at a local retailer. What I would do is create a campaign for each objective. Then I create an ad set within those campaigns for each audience. For example, if we look at the campaign to drive traffic to the website, I might create an ad set for current customers, say from an email list, and then another ad set for people who are in the same city and like to play sports. Then I'd create the actual advertisements within each of those ad sets. For those ads, I'd try a few images to see which worked the best. I might use a logo in one and a photo of the beverage in another. I could then run both of those ads side by side and see which one performs better. What's great about Facebook advertising is that they have an amazing tool that guides you through the ad creation process. Now that you're clear on ad structure, start brainstorming some different campaigns, ad sets, and ads you can create for your next advertising campaign. We are almost ready to start creating your ad, but first let's go over the tool you'll be using to do that. The Ads Create tool will help you create ads based on your advertising objectives. Remember, your advertising objective is what you want people to do when they see your ad. These are things like driving traffic to your website or getting more likes for your Facebook business page. Think of the Ads Create tool as your guided tour. Facebook will guide you through the necessary steps to create your Facebook ad, asking you specific questions to get to the heart of what you want to advertise. To launch the Ads Create tool, head to your Facebook page, select the arrow in the menu option at the right-hand corner, and select Create Ads. You can also get here by visiting the link on your screen. This is a good page to bookmark as you'll be using it every time that you create a new ad. It's on this page that you'll see all the different types of ads that you can create listed by objective. As you hover over each option, you're able to see additional information and definitions explaining what that objective and what that Facebook ad does. So let's go through these together. One thing to note is that Facebook often changes up their features and navigation on their ads tool, depending on what ads they happen to be prioritizing at the time. So your list or ads tool may appear in a different order, but the objectives and ad types will remain the same. The first column contains awareness objectives. So this includes promoting brand awareness for your business and extending your reach. Reach is ensuring that your ad is shown to as many relevant people as possible. Moving over to the middle column, you have the consideration objective. So this will support your goal of getting more people to your website, creating more downloads to your app, and generating leads. As you can see, traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, and lead generations are some of the Facebook ad types you can create in the consideration objective. Lastly, the conversion column is all about getting your audience to take a specific action. These can be things like buying a product or visiting your store. Now that we've gone through the objectives, let's select one and I'll show you what the next step would be. Here I selected brand awareness. That means that I want to increase awareness for my brand by reaching people who are more likely to be interested in it. So as I scroll down, you'll see that the ad creation part has begun. It's here that I will create a campaign name. So that means I'm creating a campaign for this type of ad. And then I'll also see an overview of this type of objective. So when in doubt, select an option and Facebook will always provide additional information. I always recommend making your campaign names as descriptive as possible in the beginning so that when you go back and you look at your reports, it's easy to identify what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and name this campaign. I'll enter in date, but maybe you specifically put your date that you're running this campaign. So at this point, we've configured our brand awareness campaign objective. The next step would be for you to start your own campaign following the same steps that I just went through. This is a great place to get started for all brands on Facebook. Facebook ads are capable of targeting even the most niched of audiences. So once you've chosen your advertising objective, the next step is to identify your audience. The audience you define are the people who'll be shown your ad. So choosing a highly relevant audience is important. You want to increase the likelihood that people will not only interact with your ad, but they'll perform the intended objective. We're in the Ads Create tool and we'll begin targeting our intended audience. Remember, to launch the Ads Create tool, you can select Create Ads from the drop-down in the upper right-hand corner of your Facebook page. You can also get here by visiting the link on the screen. This is a great page to bookmark as you'll be using it every time you create a new ad. So at this point, we've identified our objective, and that's to raise brand awareness. If you haven't previously created an ad, you may be prompted to quickly verify your account details. After verifying that information, you'll be brought to your targeting options under Audience. In this section, we're presented with a list with quite a few options. For this video, we're going to focus on the first 5, and that's location, age, gender, language, and demographics. I'll walk you through how to create each one and provide some examples of how these will look for you. One thing to note before we get started is a fuel gauge looking meter on the right-hand side of the screen. It's the one that says audience size. This gauge will show us our potential reach and how specific or broad our targeting is. Now you can see here that the arrow is pointing towards the right side of the green arc, and the description says that our audience selection is fairly broad. This also shows the potential reach of over 100 million people. So as you create your own ads, this gauge will be a handy guide. So back to targeting, it's important to know that the only targeting option that's required by Facebook is country. You'll see in the first portion here that the United States has been automatically selected based off of the location of my account. I recommend getting a bit more specific than that, especially when we're talking about an ad campaign that's focused in a specific city or if you're a brick and mortar store. It's here that we can include a country, state, city, or even a zip code. Facebook has gone ahead and already selected all of the United States for us. Now, if I wanted to remove that, I could hover over it and select the X. To add it in, I'll simply start typing. Facebook's going to auto-populate that and provide me a list, and I'll select from that list. For this ad, I want to use Santa Barbara for my location. So the same way, I'm going to type in Santa Barbara, and here it is selected. One thing to note is that we're technically serving this ad to people within a 25-mile radius of Santa Barbara, as indicated by the plus 25-mile option just to the right of Santa Barbara. Targeting by city is not available worldwide, so you may have some issues in certain countries. Ads that are displayed to people who are most likely to be interested in your product or service will perform better. So instead of creating one ad set with multiple locations, it's better to build ad sets that are more specific. That way you'll be able to customize your ad to the audience you're trying to reach. So let's say I do want to adjust this location even further. I can do that by selecting the 25-mile option. Here I can choose whether we want it to be shown to Santa Barbara proper or within 10 to 50 miles. It's also here that you can do exclusion targeting. So let's say we want to prevent our ad from being displayed in Goleta, which is a city within Santa Barbara County. I'll choose the exclude locations option and go ahead and type in Goleta. So here we can see that my ad is going to be served to anyone within a 25-mile radius of Santa Barbara and will not be served to anyone within a 25-mile radius of Goleta. Now that the location is complete, let's talk about age, gender, and language options. These selections are pretty self-explanatory, but if you're promoting an ad or product with an age restriction, be sure to set the legally required minimum. This will make sure that your ad is approved by Facebook. For our sports drink, I know my target audience is between 21 and 45, so I've gone ahead and set those options. As I'm not targeting a specific gender, I'll keep all selected. As for language, all English is selected. And one last option in the first section is the ability to target a demographic. From the detailed targeting section, you can select a wide array of optional categories from this available section. So in this case, I'm going to choose life events. And then I'm going to select away from hometown. So let's take a look at the meter. Here we can see that our audience marker is showing us that our ad is a bit more specific than how it originally was. Now we haven't done our interest or behavior targeting yet, so we're going to expect that the number is going to get smaller as we continue. Your audience is crucial to the success of your ad, so to make the most of your advertising spend, start with an audience that matches your existing user base or meets the criteria for your products. So who is your primary audience? Go ahead and create an ad and start targeting the audience you wish to get your ad in front of. Note the gauge on the right to see how your reach increases and decreases as you add or tweak your audience. Interest targeting is really where Facebook advertising stands out. Facebook collects data on its users based on information they've added to their timeline, the topics related to pages they like, keywords in their status updates, apps they use, and any ads they've previously clicked. Facebook then assigns these users to groups of high-level interests, and you'll use those interests to target people most likely to click your ad. Now we're still in the Ads Create tool, and we just finished configuring the first section. Next up is we're going to focus on the detailed targeting box. I'm going to select Browse, and here you can see all of the interests available. In the interest section is where you'll be indicating the interests you wish to target. So to search for an interest, you can type a word into the box here, and then you'll get a list of relevant options. You can also browse simply by tapping into the box or selecting the Browse button to the right. You can look through this list, and selecting the arrow option on the left side will expand the list, giving you subcategories. When you find something you're interested in, you can check the box to the right to add it. You'll also notice if you hover over an interest, you can see this number on the right-hand side, and that's the size of the audience. That's how many people are in that specific category. You can also read a description of how that category has been determined. And to provide an example, let's look for a specific interest related to our H+ ad. I'm going to look for athletes. As I type athletes into the box, you'll notice that several options are displayed. So I'm going to select this first one. For advertisement on performance beverages, we can think about interest targeting in a few different ways. I can start simply as we've done here and identify athletes, but we can also then type in some athletic sports such as running. So I chose running as an option. I might also think outside the box and look for people that are interested in an athletic brand such as Adidas. Another option might be to include a competitor. Perhaps I want to reach people that are interested in Powerade. So I'll add that as well. Now, all of the interests you add are going to work together as an either statement. So in this example, we're looking at people who like Adidas, or they like Powerade, or they like running, or they're an athlete. It is not targeting people who like all of those combined. The way Facebook categorizes interests can be very insightful on who you target and how certain interests are related. Keep an eye on your potential reach in the audience size box. Here we can see that the potential reach of this ad set so far is around 14,000 people. This number takes into account all the targeting that we've already applied, and the audience size that you need to be successful will really vary depending on your objective. Now that you see the potential of targeting, start adding in some targeting for one of your own ads. What are some of the most relevant interests your audience has that you could be targeting? Behaviors are activities that people do either on or off of Facebook. These could be anything from ordering a magazine subscription to spending an above-average amount of time online. Behaviors are constructed from someone's activity as they browse the internet along with their offline activity. That offline activity data is provided by a variety of partners of Facebook. That offline activity information might also include demographics, purchasing behaviors, and life events. So here we are, we're still in the Ads Create tool, and we're going to work in the detailed targeting section. So you'll enter behaviors just like you entered interests. You can click within the Search Behaviors box and begin typing to browse, or you can select the Browse button to the right. Here will show you a list of options for behaviors. And similar to interests, we can select the left-hand arrow to get the subcategories for each specific one. Now, behaviors can be tricky. There's not a guarantee that the information here is accurate, so you'll want to test these options to see what works best for you. Let's go ahead and add a few behaviors. I'm going to select the purchase behavior. And as I scroll down, I'm going to look for sports and outdoors. And then I'm going to select running. This running behavior targets consumers and households who are known to buy running products based on past purchasing behavior. So here you can see that the behavior has been populated along with the demographics and the interests that we've already selected. Let's also go ahead and select another behavior. I'm going to select digital activities, and I'm going to choose console gamers. Again, you can see that that has been added. So at this point, these two that we've added have an and or relationship. So our ad is either looking for console gamers or users with past purchase behavior around running products. These behaviors, though, do have an and relationship with everything else we have targeted in this ad. Now, beyond behavior targeting, we have what's called connections targeting. Connections targeting helps you control whether your ad shows to people who already have a connection with you on Facebook or not. So you can select the various options from the drop-down menu to get a full list. So for example, you can identify people who have liked your page, You can also target friends of people who like your page, and you also are able to exclude people who like your page. Under the apps option, you can target people who use your app, friends of people who use your app, and again, you have the option to exclude people who use your app. So this would be great if you're running a campaign to get new users. You don't want to target any existing users, only brand new ones. In the events section, you have the option to target people who responded to your event, and you're also able to exclude people who have already responded to your event. And here we do have advanced combinations. With this advanced option, you're able to create a more custom formula for who you connect with. You can use connection targeting to also only show your ad to people who already have a connection with your page, or to exclude people who already have the connection with you from seeing the ad, as I mentioned earlier. So you use connection targeting for any page that you're already an admin of, so you can't just pick any page on Facebook. And again, all of your audience targeting will apply to the connection targeting. So behavior targeting and connection targeting can add another layer to your advertisements, as it's another really great way to reach the right audience. There really are a ton of options when it comes to behavior targeting. For the newer advertiser, I recommend leaving this option off to minimize the amount of variables you have to keep in mind. So are there any customer behaviors you could target for your business ad set? Go ahead and start browsing those. When setting up Facebook advertising, you're going to need to decide how much you want to spend on your ads. When you first start out, this can be really difficult to determine how much is the right amount to spend on your advertising campaigns. For newer advertisers, I always recommend starting small in the beginning. You'll be setting your budget here under the Budget and Schedule section, and we're still in the Ads Create tool. Remember, you can launch this tool by selecting the Create Ads from the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner of your Facebook account. And you can also get here by visiting the link on your screen. Now we are in the Budget and Schedule section right underneath Placements, and you can see it here. The first thing that Facebook is going to do is to suggest a budget per day. And here they've suggested a $20 per day setup. This is just a recommendation, and you can edit this amount by entering a new one in the box. So you can see here that I changed the daily budget from $20 a day to $5 a day. Underneath here, you'll see that I'll spend no more than $35 per week. Now in this drop down, in addition to the daily budget, I can also set a lifetime budget. In this case, a lifetime budget will let me choose a start and end date to run my advertising campaign, and it also includes exact times. You might use this option if you have a campaign that has a specific window it should be running. This could be a coupon or sales offer, and during that time period, Facebook is going to try to spend the entire budget that you set. When you're just starting out, I definitely recommend a lifetime budget so that you make sure you don't exceed the amount that you have budgeted. There are no guarantees that Facebook will spend that entire amount, but at least you'll have a cap. When we talk about budget, there are some additional advanced options, but for the newer advertiser, I do recommend sticking with the default options. This will help you gather some data as well as familiarize yourself with the ads process and tool. Once you are more comfortable, you have the opportunity to customize how your ads run. Now, headed to the next section, let's take a look at the optimization for ad delivery option. Here you can see that we're automatically set for conversions. If I select the drop-down, you'll notice that this is the recommended optimization. So this means that Facebook will deliver or serve the ads to the right people to help me get the most website conversions at the lowest cost. So conversions are my campaign objective. I want people to click on the link that I put in my ad. So I want that to act as my objective. Underneath that, I do have the option for link clicks. So this means that Facebook will deliver my ads to the right people to help get the link clicks from my ad to a destination on or off Facebook. Underneath that, I can also choose to optimize for impressions. So this means that as many people as possible will see my ad. Underneath that is a daily unique reach. So Facebook will deliver my ads to people up to once a day. So here you can see that there are some different options to optimize my ad. So depending on what my specific goals are, I'm going to select one of these options. I'm going to stay with the conversions and the recommended option here. Now, if you have a different objective, you're going to see different options for optimization. So say you're running a campaign for brand awareness, you aren't necessarily going to have these specific options. So you'll be able to play around with that as well. So don't be alarmed if you see some different options here for optimization. Underneath that is a conversion window. It's here where you can choose how your conversions are tracked and recorded. If I select the down arrow, you can see the various options. I'm going to stick with the 7 days click. So that means that Facebook is going to consider anything in conversion up to 7 days after clicking an ad. Now let's talk about the bid amount. If I keep the automatic option, that means Facebook is going to control the bidding process for me. Facebook always bids the lowest amount up to the maximum budget that you've set, either at a lifetime or per day value. You'll often pay less than what you've entered if you're bidding manually. So here, if I set that up, I have some specific options that I can choose. Now, for newer advertisers, I suggest sticking to the automatic bidding option, but let's talk a little bit about the manual option. It's here where I will see how much my ad will cost to run per impression. Now, I can select an average or I can select a maximum value. Notice the suggested bid amount below. This shows what my competitors are paying and bidding for a similar audience and target. I'm going to stick with the automatic option. Below, Facebook makes it really clear when I'm going to get charged. So again, when in doubt, hover over the information icon and you'll get additional information. But you'll notice that I'm going to get charged for this ad per impression. So this means I'm going to get charged every time someone is served my ad on Facebook. Below that is the ad scheduling option. It's here you can use this for time-sensitive promotions and create an ad schedule. So if I select that, here I can see a specific schedule to create for my ad campaign, and it'll run during that specific time. I'm going to stick with the default here. Now let's talk about delivery type. This is where you can choose to accelerate your ads, so you can show them as quickly as possible versus slowly dripping them out over a period of time. So the accelerated option is where you'll show your ads as quickly as possible. Now over to you. Go ahead, set the budget for one of your ad campaigns. Remember that starting small is always a great way to begin. It's now time for the creative portion of your ad creation process. As we move through the Ads Create tool, we find ourselves on the last step, and that is creating the ad itself. The type of creative you use will be based on the objective that you select. In this example, we're looking at the conversions objective, but you'll be able to apply the same principles to any of the other objectives. Since this objective requires the most effort to configure, I'm using it to show you all the options that Facebook provides. Now, the first step is to choose how I want my ad to look. I can select from a couple options. You can see here under Format the different options. Starting at the left is Carousel. It's here that you can have 2 or more scrollable images or videos. To the right of that, and the one that is highlighted, is the single image. So this is where you can create an ad with one solo image, and then you can create up to 6 ads with these images at no extra charge. Next is single video, so it's similar to single image, but you're going to include a video in your ad. To the right of that is the slideshow. So you can create a looping video ad with up to 10 images. And what's really great about the slideshow is that it makes almost like a little video for you. So I recommend if you have an online store and a product, you can put the 6 different variations of the products in the slideshow, and it creates a really cool video that's free and basically takes no time to put together. But moving on to the collection. So this will feature a collection of items. So this works really well if you have an online store. I'm going to stick to the single image ad, and it is selected at the left. Now underneath, you may notice the full screen experience option. This is an advanced feature and allows more of an interactive experience on mobile. So you can always select Learn More for a deeper dive. Scrolling down to images. So it's here that I'm going to select the images for my advertisement. Now I have a couple options. I can select the Upload Images button here. I can also browse the library. So that means any images that I have uploaded in my advertising campaigns will be remembered and stored there. Or I can select free stock images. So I'm going to go ahead and select Browse Library. Here again, you see the options at the top. Under Image Library are all 32 images that I have already uploaded for my advertising campaigns. If I select Stock Images, this is powered by Shutterstock. So this is a great opportunity if you don't have professional looking images to select one for free powered by Shutterstock. When choosing a stock image, make sure that it does comply with Facebook policies. So make sure there's not too much text, and also make sure that it helps convey the message of your advertisement and isn't too cheesy looking, because stock photos can sometimes be a little bit cheesy. And then if I select Upload Images, this is where you're going to either drag and drop or click to upload images from your desktop. So I'm going to head back to Image Library here, and I'm going to select the image that I wish to use and select Done. Now here below, I can see my ad preview. So here is how the image is showing up. It is important to make sure that you double check the size of the image and that it meets the requirements for Facebook ads. So you can quickly see the size the image is in the lower left-hand corner. At the right, you'll see the recommended image spec. So Facebook will make it very clear the sizing and the image ratio, etc., that is required for your advertisement. I always recommend using the largest image possible, typically double the recommended size, as this will ensure that you get the largest advertising unit possible. It'll also display the image in high resolution, which is important for newer computers and devices that feature Retina displays. Now, this first image is going to be its own advertisement. You can have up to 6 images, meaning this particular campaign will have 6 advertisements associated with it. They'll all run simultaneously, and you can always edit them later. When starting out, I recommend you select 1 or 2 images to keep things really simple for yourself. Use 2 images as a way to test your creative and determine which concept works the best. If you don't see an image that you like, you can go ahead and browse the library for an image, upload a different one, or again, use the free stock images option. Okay, scrolling down here, you can see the image has been uploaded by Facebook. The ad preview section to the right provides a very clear snapshot of how your image is going to look in your ad. Depending on where it shows up for Facebook, you'll be able to see how it looks. So here I can scroll through the different options. So this is how the ad is going to show up on the mobile newsfeed. And then I can also select this down arrow and scroll through these different options as well. So here's the desktop right column as an example. Now it's your turn. Go through your own business assets and start pulling some compelling images for your ads. Bright colors, high resolution, and compelling creative choices will contribute greatly to the success of your advertising campaign. Now that we have our image chosen for our ad, it's time to focus on our content and review some ways we can include text, calls to action, and links in our advertisements. We are still in the Ads Create tool, and if you scroll down, you'll find the section labeled Links. Right away, you see a preview of the ad on the right-hand side of the page, and I'll use that to verify all of the creative as I go along. Let's get to the creative writing part. So the first thing to add is a website URL. This is where you want people to go when they click on your ad. So I'm going to go ahead and select the hplussport.com. Here you can see on the right that Facebook is automatically pulling information from the website and pre-populating the ad on the right. And you can see that it isn't exactly what we want to show up. So we're going to make sure that we fix that. But first things first, underneath the website option is a section labeled Messenger. And remember, if you have any questions about anything, you can always hover over that information icon and you're going to get more information on that. So it's here that you can use your ad to start conversations in Facebook Messenger. A copy of your ad will be sent to the people within Messenger itself, which is a pretty amazing option. If I select that, you can see that some placements aren't available for it. So go ahead and play with that technique. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Now I'm going to keep it unselected and just stick with the default options for here. If I scroll down, let's take a look at the headline. So because this is an ad that's linked to our website, our headline will actually appear below the image. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my headline. So there the headline has been entered, and again you can see that it shows up underneath the image. Again, I'm going to use that ad preview on the right-hand side to basically check that everything is looking great. Now, your headline is what catches the customer's attention after the image and makes them want to learn more. So when creating a headline, make sure that it's punchy, that it pops, and it's also very clear on the value proposition of that ad. It might be the title of the page that they're visiting or a short, clickable call to action. So really take the time to craft something meaningful. One thing to point out is that you are limited to 25 characters for the headline, so make sure it's short and punchy like I mentioned. Now that the headline is complete, let's take a look at the text section. So here you can see that Facebook pulled weird garbled text from the website. Let's go ahead and fix this. You'll use this section to create the main content of your ad. So this is really the sales pitch. It's what you want to communicate to your customers or to your prospects. So I'm going to go ahead and type in one that I've already created. So here you can see that the text shows up above the image, and it's very similar to a post update. You have quite a bit of room and maneuverability in this section. You can also insert links and specific calls to action. Again, you can see that it appears in the preview on the right-hand side, and really you could call this advertisement complete, but there are a couple more features I want you to be aware of. Now, below the text section, we have what's called the call to action. In my experience, ads with calls to action outperform ads without them. It gives a really clear indication to the user to click it, and it also increases overall visibility of the ad. So try them out to see if they work for you. For our ad, I'm going to select the Shop Now option here. Now you can see the bottom of the right-hand corner of the ad preview shows the Shop Now call to action button. Let's dive deep into these advanced options now that we have that complete. So the newsfeed link description, you can see that it's actually really important for me to enter this because underneath the headline on the right, H+ Sport, Revive, Refuel, and Regenerate, we have some text from the website that doesn't make sense. Again, Facebook automatically populated that information based on the website that I entered for the ad. So in this dialog box, I can add up to 200 characters for a newsfeed link description. So anything I want to say about the advertisement, the link, or maybe the terms and conditions of an offer, if I'm offering an offer, it can all go there. Facebook will shorten this text on mobile, so just be aware of this. And this section will not be displayed for a sidebar or right column ad. So you can really decide if it makes sense for you and your ad. Now for this section, it's a good idea to think of it as the elevator pitch for your company. It really describes the page that they're about to arrive on. So for this ad, I'll include a tiny snippet about what H+ Sport is to provide some more context. There, that looks a lot better. So I've added that snippet. It shows up under the H+ Sport Revive, Refuel, and Regenerate headline that we've created, and it shows and shares a little bit more about the company. So you want to be really sure that if this is being auto-populated by Facebook, that A, it makes sense, and B, if it doesn't, that you're going to edit it. So underneath that, I have the option to choose a display link. This is optional, and again, if you hover over the info icon, you'll get some additional information. The display link you can see below the text that we just added. So below the newsfeed link description, and there you can see that it shows up as hplussport.com. This adds more credibility. This lets people know really clearly where they're headed. Below that is some advanced options for URL parameters. These allow you to keep track of tags and is an advanced option. Below that is pixel tracking, and this is how you can more thoroughly track conversions taking place on your website. So you're going to want to set up this Facebook pixel, and you can always learn more about them and create that if you haven't already by selecting the Ads Manager menu and selecting pixels. What content are you going to add to your advertisement? Remember, short and to the point is always best, and it does take practice to craft that perfect message. Give it a try and see what the final product looks like in the preview section. At this stage, I've created the ad and I'm ready to place the order. Let's first go over the steps that I took to get to this point and some of the best practices before I place the order for the ad. Here you can see that I'm still in the Ads Create tool, and you can always access this page by going to the link that you see on your screen. To explain how I got here, you can see all the steps completed on the left-hand side of the screen. There you can see that I've gone through the Ad Create tool, beginning with a campaign. I've completed the ad set info that includes all the targeting, and I've finished off with the ad itself, adding on the creative info and content for the ad itself. Now, before I place my order, it's always a good idea to review the ad. And to do that, I'll go ahead, scroll down, and select the Review Order option. It's in this window that I'll be able to see what I'm really creating. I'll want to take a look at all the detail and make sure that everything appears to be in order. Be sure to review all of your audience settings, your campaign names, your ad set names, and the duration of the ad. If I scroll down, you'll also want to flag the budget and the schedule. So how much are you going to be spending for this ad campaign? If I scroll down further, I'll see the ad name, the headline, the text, and the image that I'll also be including in my advertisement. Now be sure to review all these settings, and if everything looks okay, you'll want to select the Place Order button. If there is anything that you want to change, edit, or tweak, you can select the Edit Order button at the bottom left. This will help you edit anything that isn't quite right in your ad, and it'll take you back to this page where you can edit all of those options. Once everything is set, review the terms and conditions at the bottom of the page, then choose Place Order. From there, your first order will be placed, and it's at this point that Facebook's ad team will review your ad to make sure that it meets all the necessary guidelines. If it's approved, it'll be up and running within a few hours, even sometimes a few minutes. And if it isn't, Facebook will notify you within Facebook and by email. So is your ad ready to go? Go ahead and review it, maybe even get an extra set of eyes to check it over. When it looks all good, go ahead and place your order. When we talk about placements on Facebook, we're referring to where the advertisements show up on Facebook. Facebook provides 9 options, and you can see these options in action by heading over to the ad preview. So if I select the down arrow, here are the 9 options. We have the desktop newsfeed, the mobile newsfeed, feature phone, instant articles, desktop right column, Instagram feed, audience network banner, audience network interstitial, and the audience network native. Now, an advertisement can appear on multiple placements, or you can choose to restrict where they appear. In my experience, the newsfeed offers the most exposure for the money paid, and that's a preview that you see here under desktop newsfeed, as well as the mobile newsfeed. These newsfeed ads more often than not see a higher click-through rate than those on the sidebar. But Facebook is always optimizing, and they're continually making changes to their ad placements. So Facebook automatically defaults to all 9 placements, and you can see them here when selecting the placements section. Now, Facebook always has easy defaults for the newer advertiser. So if you select automatic placements, Facebook is going to choose the placements that they feel your ads will perform the best. But if you want to edit any placements, you can select this option here. So here you're able to choose the placements you wish to display. You can easily choose by device type. So if you're only focused on mobile or desktop, then you can select accordingly. Underneath that, you have the platforms to choose from. So you have 3 different types of platforms. First is advertising on the Facebook platform itself. That means in the feeds, as instant articles, in-stream videos, right column, and suggested videos. We'll go into those a little bit later, but first I do want you to know that you can also advertise through Instagram using the Facebook Ads Create tool. So selecting that, you can have ads that show up in feed or stories. And lastly is Audience Network. So the Audience Network is an advanced option that shows your ads to the same target audience just on additional mobile apps and websites that have been approved by Facebook. So let's head over to our ads preview to take a closer look at these different types of placements. So here we have the desktop newsfeed and the mobile newsfeed. So this is how your ad looks on either a smartphone or desktop newsfeed. Underneath that is the feature phone. So this feature phone option represents phones that are not using Android or iOS Facebook app. So ads that appear in this placement will be very similar to the right-hand column ads and can contain text only due to the technological limitations of feature phones. Next up is Instant Articles. So this is a tool designed for media publishers to distribute fast interactive articles to their readers within Facebook mobile app and Messenger. The desktop right column that you see here are ads that show up only in the right column. And here is the Instagram feed placement. So these are ads that show up in the Instagram feed of your viewers, because remember, Facebook owns Instagram. Underneath that, we have the Audience Network banner. So remember, the Audience Network is an advanced option and they'll show your ads to the same audience that you have targeted, just on other mobile apps and websites that have been approved by Facebook. So here's how the Audience Network banner looks. Here's the Audience Network interstitial. And finally, the Audience Network native. So remember, headed over to placements, this is where you're going to determine what placements you want to show. Now you can always turn them on or off by selecting the right-hand little checkbox. So here I want my ads to show in the feed. I have it set for instant articles. And if I scroll down, I can see where else my ad will be shown with regards to placements. So once you've determined your ad placement, you will continue on with the creation and submission of your ad. The placement is going to determine the type of creative and the type of ad that you do create. So be sure to take some thought and take some time in choosing the placements right for your campaign. One of the quickest ways to start promoting your Facebook page in order to gain more fans and exposure for your content is to create an ad to promote your Facebook page. You'll first need to navigate to your Facebook page and be logged in as an admin or manager with advertising privileges. I'm here on the H+ Sports fan page logged in as Henry. Now on the left-hand side, under the page tabs, there's a button that says Promote. This option may be in a different section of your page depending on how many likes you have and whether or not you're using Activity Monitor. Regardless of where you find the Promote button, the options that appear will be the same. I'm going to go ahead and select that button. Once a Promote page window appears, you'll see a list of similarities to the Ad Create tool. This is essentially a mini version of that section, except for you'll see more predefined categories, like boosting a post or setting up an ongoing promotion. Now I'm going to select Show More in order to get to the Promote Your Page option. Selecting that, I will see a snippet of the ad that I'm going to create that will promote my page. Now, Facebook automatically generates a preview of my ad, and it does this by pulling the cover photo for my page along with other information that's been included in the About section. If you want to modify the placements, the image assets, or even the copy, you can click the Edit option in the Ad Creative section. So here you can see that I can edit the text here, And then I can even add a video or change the images that appear. Below that, I also have the option to target a specific audience or change the audience that this advertisement is targeting. Right now, the automatic option is targeting an audience that I specified when I first created the page. But I also have the option to target a custom audience that's already been set up in my advertising dashboard. But I'm going to stick with the first option here. If I scroll down, here you can see the budget and duration. So under the budget and duration, here we can see that Facebook has set up an estimated daily budget of $50 USD. Now notice this little warning at the top, and this is really handy when you want to make sure that you're not spending more than you have budgeted for your ads. So my spend limit is lower than the budget for this promotion. So that is a great little reminder for me that either I want to up that spend limit or maybe I want to adjust this daily budget. Now here I can see Facebook has estimated the reach per how much a day I will spend. But say I want to choose my own, I can simply type into this box and say I put $3 a day. So for $3 a day, Facebook has estimated that I'll get 1 to 4 likes. Under that, I have the duration. So I can set the duration for this promotion for 7, 14, or 28 days. Or I have the ability to just select an end date that I want this ad to run until. Underneath that, Facebook will let me know that I have a spend total of $30 and how long the ad will run for, so they make it really clear. Below that, I have the payment options. So underneath the payment, I have the account that is associated with this promotion and then the payment method. There's also something neat that you can keep yourself updated is that Facebook will send you updates on this promotion through Messenger. So you also are able to get little snippets of how this ad is going to look in different positions. And then when you're complete, you're going to simply select promote. So this promote page option is really a great way and super easy to start creating more exposure for your brand page. And it never hurts to run a Facebook-like ads campaign in tandem with your other campaigns. If this does fit your strategy, go ahead and set one up. Do you wish that your Facebook posts had more engagement on Facebook? Well, boosting a page post helps you reach a larger audience and increase engagement. That can include people who already like your page as well as everyone else on Facebook. When you boost a post to your existing fans, it appears higher in their newsfeed, so they're more likely to see it. You can also use an existing post as an advertisement to a different targeted audience on Facebook. The goal of a boosted post is the same as an ad. You want to pick something engaging and interesting in the hopes that people either interact with it or click through to your website. As Facebook continues to grow and focus more and more on advertising, it's evident the model's becoming pay to play. If you want to compete, even though you've already identified a group of fans, you may need to boost posts to get their engagement. And boosting is done from your fan page. Here I am on the H+ Sport fan page and I'm logged in as an admin. My first step in boosting a post is selecting the promote button on the left-hand side under the page's tabs. You can also boost a post by selecting boost post underneath the post itself. I'm going to select promote. From this promotion window, I'm going to select boost a post. Here I see a list of posts. I only see one, but you may see more that I am able to promote. This post went out to all my fans, but they may not have seen it. So to get started, I'll choose boost post. It's here that I see a pop-up window. Now, depending on how many fans you have, you may see a different screen, but the configuration will be the same. At the top here, we see that we have the option to add a button to our boosted post. So if I select the down arrow, I can see all the options for buttons that I have. Because this post is promoting a commercial that H+ Sport just created, I could select the Learn More button, and that would be relevant to my ad. As that populates, I'm going to make sure that I have a link for this button. So this link is going to be where people are taken when they check that button or select that button. So here, if I scroll down, you can see that the Learn More button has been added to the post. Now that looks good, I'm going to scroll down to Audience. So you'll notice that Facebook has a little warning that my audience selection is too specific for my ads to be shown and to make it broader. You'll notice that Facebook is really helpful, letting you know whether your audience selection is too specific or too broad. And they'll also let you know when you don't have enough budget to run a promotion that you're intending. So here you can see if I select the More button, this is who I'm currently targeting. So Facebook is letting me know the selection is too specific. If I scroll down, I also have the option then to just target people who like my page along with their friends, as well as the custom audience that I've created previously, which is customers that I've got from the H+ website. If I scroll up here, I have the option to edit who I choose through targeting. So this means that I'm going to edit the specific audience that is showing. So what I could do is I could add additional interests. I could open it up to other locations. Perhaps I add in Los Angeles, California. Perhaps also I open up the age range. So I make that 21 to 49. And there below, Facebook is letting me know that my audience selection is great. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Perfect. So those are going to be the people that I am targeting for this boosted post. Here I see that my promotion is also going to run on an audience network. Audience networks are partners with Facebook, making sure that your ad can run on other platforms that are separate from Facebook. Now for budget and duration. So here Facebook is letting me know that my spend limit, so that's my capped limit I want to spend on advertising, is lower than my budget for this promotion. So I could either increase my spend limit or I could simply decrease my budget here. Perfect. So now my total budget is $5. My estimated people reached is between 490 and 1,300 people. Below that, I can see the duration. So I can quickly choose that I want the duration for this boosted post to be boosted for 1 day, 7 days, 14 days, or I can run this ad until a specific date. Below that, Facebook's going to let me know that I'm going to spend an average of $1.66 per day and that this ad will run for 3 days. For tracking conversions, you definitely want to make sure that you have a Facebook pixel assigned to this advertisement. It'll just help you with additional tracking and metrics. You can always set up your Facebook pixel under your ads dashboard. Underneath there, you have your payment information, so you can quickly add that or change that. And below that, you can get updates on this boosted post in Messenger so you can stay up to date. So once that is complete, you simply will then select Boost. After you select Boost, Facebook will do a quick check to verify that your ad follows all the Facebook policies, and then you'll be notified when the boost is approved. So just because your fans like your page doesn't mean that they'll actually see your content. Facebook still limits what's in their newsfeed. So boosting a post is a great way to get your content in front of your audience as well as create more engagement. Are there any existing Facebook posts that you could boost right now to increase your own brand visibility and engagement? Your Facebook ads dashboard is your go-to location for keeping tabs on all your advertisements. To access it, go to the Manage Your Ads section from the drop-down in the upper right-hand corner of your account. Once you're in Ads Manager, you'll see all your data on the dashboard. It shows all your advertisements, allows you to check their status, make changes, and update your bidding. You'll use it to get a high-level view of any current or past campaigns, as well as create, edit, and manage them. To take a closer look at a campaign, we'll select it from the list here at the bottom. Here you see some options pop up. We're going to select View, but before we do that, I want to show you the Edit function. Clicking on Edit brings up a new window where you can quickly edit any information for your campaign. We can also do this on the View page. I'm going to cancel this window and we'll select View. Here we have a more in-depth view of the campaign. At the top, you can proxy between the main dashboard view, taking a look at performance, demographics, and placement. Right now, our campaign currently has no activity during our date range. Back to performance here. Further to the right, you can quickly switch your campaign on or off, as well as get a snapshot of what's going on. So here we can quickly turn it off, or we can turn it back on. It's also here you'll be able to edit or delete the campaign. And this middle option is Create Similar Campaign button. You'll use this option if you wish to create campaigns that have the same criteria as the one you're viewing. I recommend using this function for ads rather than campaigns, and I'll go over how that works further in the video. Since Facebook advertising has a set structure of campaign, ad set, and ad, let's scroll down and take a deeper dive into the ad set that belongs within this campaign. You can hover over the ad set itself and select Edit, or you can go ahead and click right on it. Here we are in the ad set dashboard. Its layout is similar to the campaign, but here we see all the data specifically for this ad set. As you may have guessed, the functionality is the same too, but you will notice that there is more information provided in the box on the right-hand side. Things like targeting, estimated reach, and schedule are all featured. Now you guessed it, let's scroll down and take a look at the ads that belong within this ad set. At a glance, I can see how the ad is performing, and for further details, I'll select the box to the left and notice again the options that show up. I want to talk about the Create a Similar Ad option, as this is a key feature. You may want to expand your targeting or try variations of ads that work. The easiest way to do this is by using this Create a Similar Ad option within Facebook. So when you create a similar ad, you're basically copying and pasting your existing ad. From there, you can make the necessary tweaks to your targeting and publish it as a new one. Let's select this option to see how it works. Here it'll take you directly to the Ad Create tool and automatically highlight the type of campaign your ad belongs to. So here we are creating an ad campaign to promote my page. This is where you can tweak and adjust any settings, targeting options, and anything else you wish to change. If you do leave it as is, remember you're simply duplicating an existing ad, so it makes sense to add some different specs. Once you're finished, your ad will again be submitted for review by the Facebook Ads team, and you can stop your original ad if you no longer want it running. Using the Create a Similar Ad tool will save you time and eliminate errors as opposed to creating new ads entirely from scratch. Managing and editing your Facebook ads is going to be a large part of how you spend your time. Get familiar with the Ads Manager dashboard and how your campaigns, ad sets, and ads all appear. In order to understand how your advertising campaigns are performing, reports are essential. They provide the details you need to refine your advertisements and identify whether you're achieving your goals. To access your reports, head to the Manage Your Ads section from the drop-down in the upper right-hand corner of your Facebook account. Once you're in Ads Manager, you'll see all of your data on the dashboard. I've gone ahead and logged in under my own account so you can see what it looks like once you have data associated with your ads. Let's first look at how to navigate this section by starting at the top. On the far left is the report icon. Selecting this will give you the options of saving a new report and accessing previously saved ones. It's here you can also manage the reports that you've created. This is where you can edit them, you can download them, or even delete them. Now let's take a look at the right-hand side of the screen under the Create Ad button. Here first you have the search option. In this drop-down, you can search for campaigns by campaign name, ad sets, as well as ads. In addition, you can search by campaign ID, ad set ID, and ad ID. Next to that is the filter button. With this button, you can filter your results by delivery, objective, buying type, placement, metrics, date updated, and split test. So there's a ton of options and ways that you can drill down on your information. A new filter is handy if you have a long list of campaigns. Choosing this option brings up a new dialog box that allows you to make some new customizations. So, for example, I can look for a campaign name that contains a certain value. Perhaps I'll type in page likes. And then I'll select Apply. So when this filter is applied, Facebook will return the list of campaigns with those words in its title. Now, your setup might look a bit different than mine, and that is fine. Once you include a filter, you can add an additional one, and then you can also X out of it by selecting the X to the right of that word. So next to that is a lifetime option. With this, you can filter your reports by a specific time period. I'm also able to quickly select specific date ranges, like today, yesterday, last 7 days, and then I can also select a custom date range here as well. Now, taking a look below, we can see that a lot of that information that we have here on the dashboard is categorized into tabs. Now, the first tab I'm going to select is the Account Overview. This is where I receive a snapshot of all my account activity. And if I scroll down, I can see all the engagement, all the advertising information, demographics, and information on anyone who's interacted with my advertising campaigns. Next to Account Overview is Campaigns. So this is a tab you're going to be working in a lot. It's here that I can see all of my campaigns and their results. And if I scroll over, I get more columns. I can also add more by selecting the plus icon. I have the ability also to rearrange these columns by selecting this box here. Right now it says Columns Performance because that is the way that I have this information sorted. But here I could select delivery, engagement, and then I even have the ability to customize these columns. So by selecting that, I have the ability to choose which columns are selected, which ones show up. And Facebook's really great because they always give you help, right? So here I can see that there's different ways that I could categorize this information and thus turn it into a report. So I could focus on performance, engagement, conversions. Then I have additional information like split test, which is similar to A/B testing. So it's here then you would apply that in order to pull that report, but I'm going to cancel out of this box. Next to campaigns is ad sets. So very similar. These are all the ad sets that have been created. And then ads is to the right of that. Again, you have the option of rearranging those columns and customizing them. Now the breakdown button is similar, but it's more targeted to your ads. So here you can choose which ads are shown based on the country they're running in, their placement. The best advertisers review data frequently, and Facebook makes it really easy to do just that by using scheduled reports. With a few simple steps, you can create a custom report and have it emailed to you at the frequency you decide. To access your reports, head over to the Manage Your Ads section from the drop-down in the upper right-hand corner of your account. I've gone ahead and logged in to my personal account so you can see what the dashboard looks like when you have data associated with your ads. Once you have organized the information you wish to be contained in your report, and that's going to be exactly what you see on the dashboard. So what you see on the dashboard in those columns is going to be what shows up in your report. So you can use the search, the filters, and the lifetime buttons at the top, as well as the columns and the breakdown buttons below to set up that report. Once that's set up, head over to the report icon just to the left of the account text. And from there, you can either select Save New Report, or you can access one of your existing reports that you've already created. So I'm going to go ahead and save a new report. So I'm just going to call this Sample Report. In naming yours, make sure that it's really specific. So whether you're looking at your performance, any other specific details, whether it's campaigns or ads, just make sure that it's really specific what report you're viewing. Now, because I want this scheduled, I'm going to select Schedule Email. It's here we can create a delivery schedule for this report. And the option is daily, weekly, or monthly to get that report delivered to you. So I'm going to select daily. Underneath, you can see that the subscriber is going to be Megan Adams. And you can add additional people who have access to your accounts to receive the reports too. But remember, only people with access can view this. Once you're ready, you'll hit save. So here I am on the main dashboard. I want to show you how you can manage now these existing reports. So we'll head over to the same icon and select Manage Reports from below. At the bottom, you can see the sample report I've created along with the additional reports. Now here I have the option to download it directly to my computer. I have the option to edit it using the pencil icon, and here is where I'm able to delete the report if it's no longer applicable. What reports do you need in your business? Go ahead and schedule your reports. Have them sent to you on a regular basis along with your advertising team to ensure that you're on track. With so many different types of goals and objectives, it's really important to understand your success metrics. When we look at our reports, we're often doing so with a mindset of optimization. The things you want to focus on right away are the click-through rate, the cost per click, or cost per 1,000 impressions, as well as the reach of the ad. Typically, spend is not a success metric. If you're achieving all of your other goals, you may instead decide to increase your overall spend to get better results. I've created a very basic view here on the reports section with a key performance metric, so we can take a closer look at each one. In the first column, we have reach. I'm looking here to see if this overall number matches or exceeds what I expected when I set up the ad. Now, I could drill down further into these campaigns or a specific campaign to review the targeting options in more detail if I needed a refresher. Use reach to decide if you need to increase or decrease your targeting options. Perhaps the audience is too broad and it needs to be smaller. If you see a number that doesn't fit the pattern, look at it in more detail. Next, let's look at our cost per 1,000 impressions. Or you might be looking at your cost per click depending on how you're bidding. Here, I would look to see if our CPMs match the goals I set out to achieve. I don't necessarily need these to be decreasing, I just want to see if I have any anomalies, or if I'm getting different levels of reach and click-through rates based on these CPMs. I might see a trend where a higher CPM brings me more traffic. And in that case, I might go back and adjust the CPMs of my other campaigns to be higher in hopes that I see the same results. When looking at the click-through rate, I always want to find ways to increase this number. I want more people to click through. Now, Facebook has historically low click-through rates, so don't be discouraged if the numbers here look a little low. As long as you're achieving your goals, it's fine. If I see a high click-through rate, I look at it in more detail to really understand what it is that caused such a great performance. It could be that the ad simply had a very small reach, meaning the data is skewed. Or it could be that I used an image that was perfect for the audience I was trying to reach. Try to find the patterns in your ads that have strong click-through rates and apply that learning to your other ads in your other campaigns. Now, if you're going for engagement, you might look over at the actions and the page likes. Again, these might be in different places depending on how you set up these columns. But if you had a campaign that had a link that you wanted people to click on, then you'd want a high action count. If you saw a low number here, you might have a problem. All campaigns will associate a number to page likes because if someone ends up liking your page after viewing your ad, it'll be counted in that column. But if your goal was directly linked to receiving page likes, you want to see a big number in that section. Also note that you can scroll over and see additional details here. So again, here is the actions column along with the amount spent. Yes, you might not be measuring your success by the amount spent, but I feel it's a really important metric to see how much you are spending per campaign, just to make sure that it doesn't get too out of control. Measuring the success of any advertising platform, Facebook included, isn't as simple as pulling a single metric and comparing it to other past campaigns or pieces of content. At the end of the day, the best way to understand the success of Facebook content is to determine which metrics or a combination of metrics best align to your overarching strategy. Head to your reports section and take a look at how your ads are performing. Facebook will show your advertising spend amount in two different ways. It's important to know how to view these numbers and what they mean. To access your billing, you go to the Manage Your Ads section from the drop-down in the upper right-hand corner of your Facebook account. I've gone ahead and logged in under my account so you can see what it looks like. Now I'll automatically be directed here, but I really want the Account Overview tab. It's here that I can see what is really going on with my advertising account. Right now I'm in the reach, but I'm going to select the amount spent. So this is how much I've spent in Facebook advertising. I'm able to drill down into this further by selecting the down arrow, and here I can choose by specific category what that amount spent looks like. Also, if I scroll down here, I can see per objective how much I've spent. So I can see that my traffic objective has had 5 campaigns, it's received 86 clicks, I've paid 83 cents per link click, and I've reached over 17,000 people. And the amount that I spent was $71.25. I feel like this is a really important and easy metric for me to understand. Sometimes with all the billing and all the money going out, it gets a little bit complicated. So this is a great way to take a look at what is really going on. Where is your money going? If you scroll down even further, you can see that it's broken up by age and gender and by hour. So when are you reaching the most people? And when are you spending the most advertising dollars? This is really interesting information that Facebook provides. Below that, I can see the location. And under that, I can even look into the various accounts. So if you have multiple advertising accounts, those will show below. But here I can see that my personal advertising account and the amount spent along with the reach. So that is one really great way to see how much you've spent advertising, but this might not be necessarily what is billed to your credit card. So in order to view that, we're going to head up to the Ads Manager menu and select Billing and Payment Methods. So it's here that I'm in my billing section. You can note that I'm in my account, and here I have my date filter really specific. So you also have an option of expanding that out to be lifetime or the last 7 days. It's here too that you can download all invoices. So if you're sending anything to your accountant, this is where you're going to be finding your invoices. Facebook also emails them out whenever they've charged your credit card. To the right here, you can see a current balance. So if you're carrying a current balance and it hasn't been billed out to you, you can see what you're accruing. And if you select payment settings here, this is where you're going to see when your next bill is coming and the amount due. Now let's select the Manage button on the top right, and here is your billing threshold. I really like this because I can set a threshold for when I'm billed. And so if you want fewer bills, you can raise your threshold. But if you want to be billed for every $50 that you've spent, you can enter that in here as well. Under here is where I can track my payment methods or add an additional payment method. And underneath is where I can set my account spending limit. So I highly recommend setting an account spending limit. This is going to make sure that you don't inadvertently go over the money that you've allocated to your advertising budget. So what you'll do is you'll just say account spending limit is $100, and when it hits that limit, it is going to let you know, and you can either increase it or hold fast at that amount. When looking at success metrics, use your daily spend reports to determine the actual cost associated with your goal. The billing reports will help you understand which charges occurred on your credit card and are a great way to double check that your spend is being reported properly. There are some must-know practices that when applied to your Facebook ad campaigns will make your ads more powerful and truly connect you with your targeted audience. Your first objective is including a clear call to action. And a call to action is just that. In the ad copy, you're letting your audience know what action you want them to take, while making it very easy for them to take that specific action. What may help with this is using the most relevant call to action button on Facebook. Let's head over to an ad that's in progress for the H+ Sport account. Now I've scrolled a page down to the creative section where you see the call to action button. This is where you can choose the applicable call to action button to appear on your ad. This will only show up though if you add a website URL. If you don't, it won't show up. So make sure that you check that and have a website URL that you want to send the person to. Now for the call to action button, if I select the down arrow, here I see a drop down of all the options. So I can have a book now, a listen now, if I have a download or an audio download, learn more, and then if I scroll down, here we have a sign up, shop now. So there's all kinds of different options for every single type of ad and industry. Let me select the most applicable one for our message here, and I'll select shop now. As I select that, you can see on the ad preview, the bottom right-hand side of it, the Shop Now button appears. When someone clicks that call to action button, they'll automatically be directed to the website that I entered up here. So let's review 2 ads for the H+ Sport drink and their specific call to actions. The ad goal is to let customers know the H+ Sport drink is now available to purchase online, and the specific call to action is to get them to buy it now. The first one reads, H+ Performance Sport Drink is now available online, only $9.99 per case. It's not bad. It tells the reader the news and the pricing, but a better version would read, buy a case of H+ Performance Sport Drink today, only $9.99. I'd then have Facebook include a buy now or purchase now or shop now button on the ad itself. It's the action, buy now, that influences the viewer. Secondly, highlighting any major benefits your product has over the competition will greatly increase your engagement for your ad. We could edit the last example to read, buy a case of H+ Performance Sports Beverage today at the discounted price of $9.99. Now it sounds like it's on sale. If you're really aggressive, you could include a time-sensitive offer to the tune of today only or this week only, and that'll increase the speed at which your viewer responds. Next, I recommend you use a simple but eye-catching image that is relevant to your advertisement. In our ad example, I use a picture featuring a sports drink looking delicious and refreshing. If we're focusing on the performance aspect of the drink, you could use an athlete showcasing the drink and taking a sip. Let the user connect the dots. You don't need to pack too much information into an image. Another really important best practice is always having someone review your ad. You might love what you've written, but try it on a friend or colleague to make sure that it's clear. Oftentimes, we're so aware of our brand that we think it's more obvious than it really is. Don't be afraid to run multiple variations of an ad copy to the same audience. Try small changes at first. For example, you might try different images or a different call to action button and ad copy. Now that you know these best practices, are there any ads that you could apply these best practice techniques to? Great ad copy can be easily lost in the Facebook newsfeed without a captivating image. To make the most of your advertising real estate, you'll want to choose an image that resonates with your audience. Let's talk about what makes a great image for your advertisements. When you sit down to make your selection, think about the following. First, stock isn't always the best. Stock photography can look a lot like an advertisement. The wrong stock image can create a disassociation from your brand image, and it might even be used by another advertiser, which will make your spend a lot less impactful. If you do use stock photography, try to find images that feel natural and are extremely relevant to your product. With the sports drink that we've been advertising, I'll be looking for stock images that feel athletic but aren't cheesy. A good tip is to put the stock image alongside any brand materials you have. A website, a logo, business card, all of those will work well. If the two look like they work together, it's probably a safe bet to use that stock photo. But if you sense the image doesn't feel or reflect your brand, keep on looking. Using people and bright colors are also a safe bet. In general, people are drawn to pictures of other people, so the image will feel familiar and interesting. The bright colors will help the image stand out amidst all the other content on your screen. Another tip is to consider how the image will look in a small size. Too many little details will be lost with smaller ad units, so think big or use a different image for each placement. It's really important to follow the image size guidelines that Facebook provides. Otherwise, your image might be cropped in a weird way or scaled incorrectly, leaving your ad looking incomplete. As with ad copy, test and test and test some more. Don't give up on an advertisement until you've tried multiple images. You might have the winning copy, but it's not working with the visual you have. Remember, you can run the same ad copy with multiple images to the same audience and find out what works. You may also want to consider using different images for different audiences. Don't underestimate the power of an image. Now, take some time to look at any ads you're running. How do the images look for them? Now that you've created some great ads, let's go over some ways that you can continue to improve your performance. First, let's evaluate relevancy. Essentially, this is looking to see if your ads are still relevant to your target audience. Do the interests you set up make sense for them still, or do they need refining? How about your demographics? Review your demographics to reach people likely to be interested. This might mean adjusting the age range or focusing on a specific gender. Second, if the ad is performing well, but you're not seeing substantial results after the click, I'd start looking at your landing page. Your landing page is a URL you're sending people to after they click on your Facebook ad. Is this page they landed on easy to navigate and relevant? Just think, if you clicked on an advertisement that said sign up or buy now, you'd expect to visit a page specific to that. Don't be afraid to create a custom page to present the information related to your advertisement. This will increase conversion on your website. By looking at your reporting data, you can identify trends as they relate to, say, a location. You might notice that visitors from Australia are converting better than those in the United States. If that's the case, shift your focus to Australia and start running new tests to identify what resonates better with the other audience. Next, take some time to evaluate the type of device being used. If a lot of your traffic is coming from mobile, ensure your ads are optimized for mobile and ensure your website is also mobile-friendly. Lastly, consider ad fatigue. I know that you have seen the same ad over and over again and simply are very tired of seeing it. Advertisements can become stale relatively fast, especially in this new digital environment. So at some point, you may notice a drop-off in your performance that isn't related to targeting or advertising spend, and this is likely ad fatigue. It happens when users have seen the same ad over and over again. How you can combat this is by refreshing your content and image at least every other week to ensure that your ads don't become stale. As long as you're advertising, you're going to be improving your advertisements. It's a moving target and the market shifts daily as more and more advertisers start spending money and creating competition. Be easy on yourself. It'll take a few weeks to really hit your stride, but be sure to set aside some budget just for your experimentation. Go ahead and make any necessary tweaks to your ads. Once they have had time to run, be sure to look at how they're performing. This is all really important for improving the performance of your ads. Your success with Facebook ads is dependent on following some key guidelines. Let's review the major policies to help you prevent your ads from being flagged for review. We'll start by talking about images. The most important rule, and often the most confusing, is related to text on an image. Ads in the newsfeed can't have images with more than 20% of text in them. That includes logos, slogans, and any custom copy you overlay. Facebook does this to maintain a positive ad environment for users. They feel that less text on images makes the overall advertisement feel more high quality. As long as you stick to the 20% rule, you'll be fine. Facebook does have a tool to help you determine if your text is acceptable, and you can find that tool in the link shown on the screen. But let's head over to the tool and take a look. Here in the grid tool, I've uploaded the H+ Sport logo, pretty certain that it would not fit the criteria. And sure enough, the text covers 40% of the image, so I would not be able to use the logo as an ad image. Next, let's talk about landing pages. Facebook is very specific that your landing page must be relevant to your offer. If you had a 25% off coupon, but the landing page you led people to has no mention of it, Facebook will cancel the ad. Facebook also has very specific rules on the language used in advertisements. This gets to be fairly complicated, but in general, if you're respectful and honest with your messaging, you'll be fine. So images may not be overly sexual, imply nudity, show excessive amounts of skin or cleavage, or focus unnecessarily on body parts, even if they're for artistic or educational reasons. Also, shocking, sensational, disrespectful, or excessively violent content is strictly forbidden and really, really enforced. You also can imply that you know someone's personal characteristics or ask questions about that personal characteristic. In this case, you could say, buy personalized t-shirts, but you can't say, buy a t-shirt, Drew. So if you're advertising alcohol, you'll have to target those old enough to legally drink based on the location you're advertising in. For dating services, all ads must target users over the age of 18. For a full list of policies, you can read the entire ads guideline by following the link on your screen. Double-check each of your ads for compliance before hitting submit. Once you create an ad, Facebook will review it and it can take several hours. To save on time, you'll want to make sure that your ad will pass the review before you hit the place order button.